Marcus set down the water glass and looked at the woman
I fed you
directly.
when you were
I
hungry.
fed you when you were hungry. She stared at him like he'd spoken another language. Her husband's laugh died mid-sound. The entire table went silent. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back 15 minutes. Marcus had been wiping down table 7 when they walked in. The woman wore a coat that cost more than his monthly rent. Her husband checked his watch twice before sitting. They didn't look at Marcus when he approached. Most people didn't anymore. "Good evening. Can I start you with just water?" the woman said to her phone. "We're not staying long." Marcus nodded and turned away. He'd worked at Riverside Bistro for 3 years. He knew his role: be invisible, be efficient. Don't expect eye contact. He brought their water, took their order, tomato soup and grilled cheese for her, steak for him. As he walked away, he heard it. "Can you imagine working here at his age?" her voice carried. She didn't bother whispering. "I'd just die." Her husband chuckled. "Probably never applied himself. You know how it is." Marcus's hand tightened on his notepad. He kept walking. 23 years he'd been hearing comments like that. 23 years since the factory closed. Since his engineering degree stopped opening doors. Since he learned that some doors were never meant for him anyway. He put in their order. The kitchen smelled like butter and bread. Jenny, the cook, smiled at him. She always did, small mercies. When he brought out the soup and sandwich, the woman was mid-story. "And I told her, if you can't afford the membership, maybe that club isn't for you. I mean, we work hard for what we have." She didn't look up when Marcus set down her plate, but he looked at her, really looked. The slope of her nose, the way she tucked her hair behind her left ear, the small scar above her eyebrow. His hands started shaking. He set down the husband's steak carefully. "Will there be anything else?" His voice came out steady. "Years of practice." "This is fine," the woman said, waving him away. Marcus didn't move. She glanced up, annoyed. "I said we're fine. You don't remember me." It wasn't a question. Her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me." "The soup," Marcus said quietly. "You always wanted it with extra crackers, and the grilled cheese cut diagonal, not straight across." The woman's face shifted. Confusion first, then something else. "I don't know what I fed you when you were hungry." Her husband leaned forward. "Look, buddy, I don't know what kind of game." 22 years ago, Marcus continued. His voice was soft, but every word landed. "Corner of 5th and Madison. There used to be a community kitchen there, before they tore it down for condos." The woman's face went pale. "Your mother brought you every Tuesday and Thursday. You were about 9, maybe 10. Wore a blue coat with a broken zipper. Your little brother always cried when we ran out of crackers." Her hand moved to her throat. The gesture was unconscious, protective. "You don't have to," she started, but Marcus was already talking, not angry, not bitter, just remembering. "I ran that kitchen for 6 years. After the factory closed, I needed something, so I cooked, fed about 200 people a week. Your family came for 8 months. Your mother never said much, proud woman, but she always said thank you, always." The husband had stopped eating. 3 other tables were listening now, pretending not to. "You loved tomato soup," Marcus said, looking at her plate, "but only if it was warm enough. And grilled cheese, diagonal cut. You said it tasted better that way. I always cut yours special." The woman's eyes were wet. "There was one day," Marcus continued, and his voice went softer. "Week before Christmas. Your mom came in alone, said she had to choose between electricity and food. Asked if you and your brother could eat with us that week, maybe the next week too." A tear rolled down the woman's cheek. She didn't wipe it away. "I told her the kitchen was open every day, made sure there was always soup and sandwiches set aside. Your mother cried that day. Only time I ever saw her cry. She said, 'I don't know how to thank you.'" Marcus paused. The restaurant had gone completely quiet. "I told her the same thing I told everyone. You don't thank me, you just remember. When you're on your feet again, when things are better, you remember what it felt like, and you help the next person." The woman covered her face with her hands. "Sarah," her husband whispered. She was crying now, full tears, her shoulders shook. Marcus stood still. He wasn't trying to hurt her, he was just tired of being invisible. "My mom," Sarah said through her tears. "She died 5 years ago." "I'm sorry," Marcus said, and he meant it. "She talked about you," Sarah continued, looking up at him. She called you the soup man, said you saved us. Her voice cracked. I didn't know, I didn't recognize you. I'm so sorry. The apology hung in the air. Marcus nodded slowly. People see what they expect to see. You expected a waiter, so that's all you saw. Sarah's husband pushed back his chair, stood up, extended his hand. My name is David, and I'm sorry too for what I said, what we both said. Marcus shook his hand. The grip was firm, genuine. Your food's getting cold, Marcus said gently. Sarah laughed. It came out broken. I can't. How are you here? You ran a kitchen. You helped so many people. Why are you? She gestured around the restaurant. Working here, Marcus finished. Because places like this hire people like me. Engineering firms don't. Not anymore. Not at my age. Not with. He didn't finish. Didn't need to. Sarah wiped her eyes, looked at her soup, picked up her spoon. She took a bite. You remembered, she whispered. Extra crackers, diagonal cut. I remember everyone, Marcus said. Comes with the job, both jobs. What happened next happened fast. Sarah stood up, opened her purse, put $500 bills on the table. No, Marcus said immediately. Please, her voice broke. My mother would want. Your mother, Marcus interrupted gently, wanted you to remember, that's all, so remember. Sarah looked at him, really looked, seeing him for the first time. I'm the director of Summit Nonprofit Coalition, she said quietly. We fund community programs, food banks, kitchens, job training. She pulled out a business card, set it on the table. We're looking for someone to run our new community center, someone with experience, someone who knows what people really need. Marcus stared at the card. It's not charity, Sarah said firmly. It's a job, a real one, and you're the most qualified person I can think of. The restaurant was completely silent now. Jenny had come out from the kitchen. Other servers had stopped moving. Marcus picked up the card. His hands were still shaking, but for a different reason now. Call me Monday, Sarah said. Please, he nodded, couldn't speak. Sarah sat back down, picked up her spoon, took another bite of soup. It's perfect, she said, just like I remember. Marcus walked back to the kitchen. Jenny grabbed his arm. Did that really just happen? She whispered. He looked at the card in his hand, at Sarah, eating her soup slowly, crying quietly into her napkin, at her husband, who'd called over the manager and was explaining that Marcus was the best server they'd ever had. Yeah, Marcus said, I think it did. He worked the rest of his shift, served 6 more tables, but everyone had heard. The tips that night were different. The eye contact was different. When Sarah and David left, she stopped at the server station. My mom used to say something, Sarah told him. She'd say it every night before bed after we got back on our feet. We're only as tall as our kindness. I didn't understand it then. I forgot it somewhere along the way. She paused. Thank you for reminding me. Marcus watched her go. The card was still in his pocket. Monday came. He made the call. 6 weeks later, Marcus stood in front of a new community kitchen, bigger than his old one, better equipment. Funding for 3 years guaranteed. The sign above the door read, Madison Street Community Center, where everyone has a seat. On opening day, Sarah came, brought her 2 kids. Her daughter stared at the industrial soup pots. Is this where you knew Grandma? She asked Sarah. No, Sarah said, watching Marcus ladle soup into bowls, tomato soup, with extra crackers. This is where I remembered her. Marcus caught her eye across the room. She smiled, he nodded. That first day, they fed 247 people. Marcus cut every grilled cheese diagonal, every single one, because the smallest details matter most to people who have the least. He'd always known that. He just needed someone else to remember it too. The woman who'd once been a hungry child in a blue coat with a broken zipper had remembered, and that made all the difference.